Assalamu alaikum, girls. Welcome to term 2. In term 2, you are covering chapters 8, 9, and 10 as part of your theory topics. And in term 2, as part of your practical topics, you will be covering web authoring, which is basically web designing. So you can see that for theory topics, we will get started with chapter 9. Chapter 9 is a very easy chapter, and I hope you will enjoy it. So today we are getting started with section 9.1, which is on audience appreciation. So let's see what this is all about. The objectives we are trying to cover as part of this 9.1 on audience appreciation is we want to show a clear sense of audience when we plan and create any ICT solutions, be able to analyze the needs of your audience, explain why solutions must meet the needs of the audience, and create solutions that are responsive to and respectful of the audience needs. Also, we will be covering why the internet is not policed and why it should be, and what are the effects of this, including the existence of inappropriate sites. This we have gone through a bit of it before as well. Today's success criteria is that you must be able to at least explain why the internet is not policed, and as an extension, you will be creating a PowerPoint slide today, taking into consideration the needs of the audience. The challenge for today is that you will explain why solutions must meet the needs of the audience. As a starter, I have two sets of slides for you, and you need to spot the difference between them. This is the first slide. Have a good look at it. Have a good look at the slide given here. And this is slide number 2. Have a good look at this slide as well. All right. So now we are going to think, how do the two slides differ? Clearly, you can see that slide 1 was a bit more colorful. It had some pictures and images on it. It had a background. Slide 2 was pretty much plain. It was more of an informatic slide. For what audience would slide 1 be suitable? So we can see that slide 1 will probably be suitable for small children, primary school kids, teaching them some content and so on. And for what audience would slide 2 be suitable? Slide 2 would probably be suitable for a seminar for doctors or nurses where you just need to convey the information, and pictures or graphics or background really doesn't matter. What factors do you have to keep in mind about your audience when designing a presentation for them? So from slide 1 and slide 2, we can already see that depending on our audience, we might have to change the background, what kind of font we use, whether we use colors or we minimize their use, whether we use pictures or keep it plain and to the point, and so on. So this is our discussion today. Who is an audience? An audience is the one who the product is aimed at, the one who is going to use the product that you are making, right? And it is very important to tailor the ICT solution according to the proposed audience, and we need to take a number of factors into consideration when we do this. So how can we find more about our potential target audience? These are the ways we can find: by doing interviews with them, by doing questionnaires with our audience, by finding the market research of the audience, what are their likes, dislikes, and so on. Doing these methods, we can gain some information about the audience we are making the ICT solution for. And we also keep these four things in mind. What is the age of your audience? What is their experience level? So, for example, are they senior school students, senior secondary students? What is their experience? What are their expectations? What do they expect to get from the ICT solution that you are delivering? And what is their previous knowledge as well? Once you are aware of all these needs, then you can take the following into consideration. Once you know all these things about your audience, then you can decide what kind of language you need to use in your slides. What kind of colors must be used? Should it be plain or more colorful? How should it be more usable? How complex it should be? Maybe if you're making something for programmers, it can be very complex. If you're making something for senior adults, it needs to be very simple to use. And how much of multimedia or interactive content you will be using as well. What are the needs of the audience? The needs of different audience are different, and you as the developer of an ICT product need to make sure that you meet as many of the needs as possible. So let's see what can be the needs of children. So for children, if you are making a software for them, it needs to have bright colors, cheerful colors, animations and sounds that can keep their attention, lots of pictures, a less amount of text but more pictures, using simple wording, not using very complex words, large fonts, using some games or activities for the content in between, and something that's easy to use, using click buttons. Yeah. But if you are creating an ICT product for some teens or adults, then you will have to also use some attractive colors without making it too bright, and some interesting content that can capture their attention according to their experiences. So, based on social media they use or their hobbies. You need to balance out the pictures and the text. It shouldn't be too much text to bore them out, or too much pictures that they don't get the content that they are looking for. It must be uncluttered. You should not use childish language the way you would with your previous group, which is children. You must use clear fonts, and also, if you use bullet fonts, this becomes easier to absorb information. What if you are making an ICT solution for seniors? So, for example, you are making an app that is to help senior citizens navigate around Qatar. Then, how should your app look like? Your app should have some contrasting colors, which makes it easier to read even if a person is colorblind. It must have proper instructions on how to use the app, and you would probably use larger font sizes than normal, and minimize the use of technical terms. So don't write in very simple and plain language. Also, you must make sure you have a consistent design so the buttons are always in the same place and so on. And you make all the navigation easy to use, like be clickable rather than typable. Yeah. So, what we are going to do now is pause this video here and read page 163 and 164 from your textbook. You will understand some examples of how you can make presentations suitable for your target audience. Please pause the video here. Alright, now that you are back, let's continue. And we are trying to now see, should the internet be policed? Why is it desirable to have it policed, and why is it not policed at the moment? So we've done a bit of this before as part of the chapter 4 we covered in term 1, so this could be just a revision for you. The debate of whether the internet should be policed or not is actually a very continuing debate, and the following are some of the reasons why some users believe the internet needs policing. So as you know, there's always been major hacks on major companies and corporations, which has put people to think that we really need to police the internet. And there has also been sharing of material with terrorists, which puts a lot of people at risk. There are instances of abuses in chat rooms and social media, and a lot of fake news going around as well. Being in Qatar, we know this also. And a lot of grooming of young children take place as well. So, should the internet be policed? We can always talk about its advantages and disadvantages. The advantage would be that it will protect the vulnerable users from gaining access to undesirable websites. So, this would include young children and so on. If the internet is policed, then they will not be able to access undesirable websites. If the internet is policed, you can also prevent illegal material being posted, so illegal software being posted, shared by web users, and so on. And if you police the internet, you can also bring justice to those people who continuously misuse the internet for their personal gain. So, for people who are selling uh, not copyrighted versions of movies and so on, we can bring them to justice. But what are the disadvantages or problems with policing the internet? One is that it is extremely difficult and expensive thing to do because the internet is a very vast and big network. You will need a lot of infrastructure use, including staff and offices containing people or polices who will be doing this policing of the internet. And it will also be difficult to enforce different rules in different countries because the understanding of rules are different in different countries and the expectations are different. And if you police the internet, this might go against freedom of speech also. So now we can think about whether we should police the internet in Qatar and if we have some methods in place already. This is for you to think about. As plenary for today, we are going to recap what are the methods used to analyze the needs of the audience. So, in the first part of this video, we were discussing what methods can be used to analyze the needs of the audience, and we saw that you can get your needs of the audience by doing interviews with them, by doing some questionnaires with them, by doing market research of the target group. Your homework for today will be to open up PowerPoint and create one slide about dolphins. And this slide must be designed so that it is appropriate for girls below 7 years of age. So you are the ICT solution developer. Your audience is girls below 7 years of age, and you're expected to make one slide about dolphins for them. So keep in mind the needs of your audience. That's all for today, girls. Hope this is an easy and interesting topic for you. See you again next week. Assalamu alaikum.